Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Mind Over Miles podcast. Today, in our third episode, we will talk about the mountain laboratory, also known as training camp, which is exactly what we're doing these days, right, Yunus?
Yes.
Yunus is, as always, the special guest of the podcast, and he's here today to tell us a little bit more about why we are doing this training camp, what is a trail running training camp, and why do we think it's important for Yunus' upcoming race, which remind us which is your race?
Uh, Monte Rosa by Wasserbeck,
UTMB.
UTMB.
How
Yes.
many kilometers?
It's 122 kilometers. It just got extended to 122. It used to be 119.
How much elevation?
8,500 meters.
Wow. Every time you say it, it's more impressive.
We'll see.
Cool. So, for whoever doesn't know us, we are from the Moving Potato YouTube channel. And we just started this podcast to go through Yunus' journey in preparation of this race. So today, let's start on the training camp topic. So, what is a training camp? How did you get the idea of going on a training camp? And where are we? What are we doing?
So a training camp is, good runners, they always do stuff like that. Obviously, we are not good runners. We are probably
Amateurs.
below average runners, like way below average runners. But how we got the idea is, I don't know how we got the idea.
I think from your coach.
Could be my coach, or like essentially, yes, my coach last year, and I think the year before, with his brother went to Borneo for running camp. And then I remember telling Kiara, like, we should do something like that, because essentially they go in a hotel, they have breakfast, like, buffet style breakfast, lunch, dinner. You go there on altitude, you wake up, you do your run, have breakfast, rest, and then you do your evening run, rest again. So, like, it's both like a holiday and also like strict training, no other distractions. And the biggest advantage is most of us live in the sea level or close to sea level, and altitude is super critical for conditioning, because in altitude the body learns to hold more oxygen thanks to hemoglobin in the blood. It improves your conditioning. And in my case specifically, the race is in the Alps, in the mountains, and in the around the Aosta Valley. It starts from Aosta and goes all the way to Gressoney and goes past Matterhorn and Monte Rosa mountains. So the race is going to be on these trails. And I wanted to experience these trails, which I think you will ask why later.
Is it the first time you come in this area?
No, I came to Aosta before for. So I came to Aosta Valley first to climb Gran Paradiso 4 or 5 years ago, because as I explained in the previous episodes, my journey started with mountaineering. So I, deprioritized it due to running, but like I heard about Monte Rosa, because not Monte Rosa, Gran Paradiso, because I was looking for an easy climb that I can do by myself. A lot of people still wouldn't suggest solo climbing these kind of mountains because there is glaciers, because since these are very high mountains. And I heard about Gran Paradiso because it's the highest mountain whose entire mass is in Italy. All the other Italian mountains are shared with France, Switzerland, etc. The highest ones, but Gran Paradiso is the only one that is above 4,000 meters and completely belongs to Italy. So I said, "Yeah, okay, if I climb each country's highest point, I climbed Mont Blanc before. Let me conquer Italy as well." And then I was thinking, okay, I'll go to Grossglockner, which is Austria's highest. Switzerland's highest is Monte Rosa, I think, and that I'll do one day. And Germany's something Spitze, I forgot. So that's why I came here. And one time I came for ice climbing in Cogne, I don't know how it's pronounced.
I don't know.
Cogne.
Cogne.
Okay, she also doesn't know.
I've never heard,
Yeah.
but maybe it's famous.
It's
We are
very
just
famous for ice climbing.
probably. I'm just not too much into ice climbing, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it a few times only either.
Cool. But diving deep into why we are in this training camp, also tell us more about what are your goals out of this training camp. For how long will we stay here? And how do you think about planning your trainings and, you know, in general? What is your plan for this week?
So the goal is first, like be in the altitude and get that essentially conditioning, and secondly, and probably more importantly, climb in the mountains, and even more importantly, run down in the mountains, because you can train as much as hills, as much as I don't know, like you can lift weights, you can do everything, but nothing replaces running in the mountains actually. Going up, feeling the terrain, it's completely different. The weather can change anymore. You might guess no, like these are high mountains in July, August, anything can happen. And secondly, the one thing that you cannot properly train is for is, and from my past experiences of getting destroyed, and experienced trail runners know it, but until you go through it, you don't know it, is running downhills. Because generally in this kind of races, we call it trail running, but 80% is hiking actually, because going up, you have to hike. Like, I mean, it's dark, you can see, but these are like big mountains. Even elites don't run uphill, because it doesn't make also sense. Like, you are spending too much energy. But going down, that's where that's what separates good runners from average, and in my case below average. Like, they go very fast, they don't have fear, but it's immensely pounding on the legs, and it causes all kinds of quadriceps problems, muscle problems, knee problems. Everybody likes going downhill, but like it's a different, your heart rate is lower, but your legs are destroyed. So I also want the body to feel a little bit like in Luxembourg we can do it, but for like, I don't know, you can go down for 4 minutes, 5 minutes max. Here you have to go down sometimes for maybe 45 minutes, 1 hour, like, I don't know, 7 kilometers, eight
Yeah.
kilometers.
That is definitely like one of the hardest things to train, especially if you live in a city like us, where it's not easy to have access to mountains or steep up and downs. Definitely very critical. And how are you training for uphill and downhills in the mountains? Like, what type of sessions do you plan to do in this week uh, within your training program?
Actually, like, because I get the monthly training program from my coach, and he already incorporated this week into the training program of, like, he knows that we are going to be in the mountains, and he writes accordingly, like, during the week. It's so for trail running and this kind of very long distances, unless you are top runner, what matters is the time you spend on feet, because essentially you'll be going 20 hours. In my case, probably above 24 hours. Your body needs to get used to being on feet all the time. I have like 4 or 5 hour runs on the weekends. Last weekend we did 6 hours, for instance. But we do normally in a city in 6 hours. I would probably do 50-55 kilometers. But here we did 28 kilometers, because what matters is the altitude gain and loss that you go through. So he writes programs like that, and then even hiking is part of my program. Like, just go hike, just be in the mountains, go up and down, roll down, do something, but like just spend time here. Normally on Wednesdays I have speed workouts, because those speed workouts are very beneficial also in these long endurance runs, because that power turns into endurance when you are very exhausted, etc. Like, I am not very familiar with the science. I've read a few books about it, but like, so the power is also very important. So yeah, it's mostly like spending time in the mountains.
Yeah, definitely. Last weekend we did the 6 hours with 2,000 meters of elevation gain. I was completely destroyed. Cool. And what is, for example, like one of the key challenges and hardest part of the training of when you're training here in the mountains versus at home in your local trails or on the road?
Altitude, because your body is not adapted to altitude, and the terrain. Like the climbs are different level. Like the climbs are actual climbs, and they last for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They don't last for 2 minutes. Or downhills. I mean, they are technical. You go down for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Even in training, your muscles are forced more. I don't know, like sun burns more because you are in altitude. It rains. It's super cold. All of a sudden, you have to cross the creeks, rivers, etc. It's nature.
Yeah, I remember we were on an easy run yesterday, and because we were almost at 4K, but not at 4K yet before going back, I told Yunus, you only have 400 meters left. Just go. You will catch me up. I'm slower than you. And then I saw Yunus going, like he was never stopping, going up. I think those were the most like endless 400 meters you have experienced so far.
Yeah, just if in 400 meters, I don't know, gained probably 100 meters of altitude. That's probably 10, 11K in Luxembourg, and Luxembourg is known for being very hilly. That's probably 70K in London, for instance, to get to
Impossible.
100 meters. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you need to think about your training that you do at home, what are the hardest session for you? Like what really like takes you a lot of energy to do, and you come back home and you say, okay, this was a good quality training, but I was exhausted.
Speeds, because like I'm not very fast. I don't have the I don't know, probably the fast twitch muscles, and I don't train for it. The speed workouts uh, is the hardest for me, because I mean, my coach writes different workouts for me. Sometimes like it's, I don't know, 10 times 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Sometimes it's I don't know, like 3 times 2 kilometer fast, uh, 3 minutes off, like stuff like that. Those are the hardest for me, because like I'm used to running long times, and in a lower heart rate. But when you push your body, it works very different. It's almost like completely different sport. But I know that in the long term they are extremely beneficial, and I have to get so much faster if I want to keep doing this, and also maybe improve my time. So those are very critical, but they also carry the biggest injury risk, like because they force you, and yeah.
For the purpose of this ultramarathon training, do you do these speed workouts, for example, in the track on flat ground, or do you do it on hills, or at least try to do it on hills or trails?
So it's actually like, I mean, it's something that I'm learning lately also, and it's for the purposes of this race. So what matters in this case mostly is the effort that you put. So it's, I try to do it on. I didn't go to the track. Like I just do it in Luxembourg's streets, but they are also slightly hilly, and even the slightly hilly is slightly hilly for I say slightly, but for any random city, it's very hilly, Luxembourg. So it makes a huge difference. So, but I know that the speed of, I mean, your cadence, the speed of leg movements, or the actual speed also matters. So uh, normally, if I was preparing for half marathon or marathon, I would definitely go to track. But in this case, like he said, the effort matters, and even if it's hilly, it's even better. Like you are not gonna go get to, for me, I don't know, 440 is fast pace, for instance. I've run a marathon with 448 pace, but like right now, I am not there. I am probably heavier, and I train only longer distances, and your body immediately reacts to it, adapts eventually, but like it's different methodology of training.
Yeah, that's definitely like super important to keep in mind also. Uh, Not only the terrain, but the effort, as you said. That's at the end of the day what matters and what will need to be trained for these races. So Yeah, very, very insightful. The next question that I have for you is specifically about this week. So we are more or less halfway our training camp. Sadly, I wish we could stay here longer. And what do you think you are improving, and what are you liking the most about this training camp?
I mean, you can't improve in a week in running. You can't improve anything. It's a consistency sport. You gotta do. It's like constantly putting money in the bank. As you know, as the months and years pass, you improve. But the unfortunate thing is, if you stop putting money in the bank in 4 weeks, you may go very behind. But like I am experiencing, I am probably my nervous system is learning more ups and particularly downs. And what I like the most is because I always get these knee problems in downhills in the actual races. So far, my mind was always there, and once I put my mind somewhere, it really bothers me. Even when we are going up running, I'm always thinking about like, yo, is my right knee gonna give up? Is it gonna start hurting? Will I understand in the downhills? Did I do enough downhills? So I constantly battle with these questions. Like, will it come back in the race? What if I fail it right? If I feel the pain right now, like, will it come back in 3 weeks because the race is exactly in 21 days? So like these kind of questions, but like so far I haven't had any problems.
I mean, we can definitely say that maybe it's not, you don't feel like any improvement specifically because it's even too early to say, but definitely it's a confidence boost because you are not experiencing any pain versus what you
Yeah,
were expecting, probably.
yeah, and I mean, what I like the most is like, I mean, it's my hobby was being in the mountains. So like, we are in an amazing place. It's a very nice, stone house we are staying. I mean, unfortunately, we have to work during the day, but in the morning you can go out and you see the Matterhorn view. It's the valley. There is waterfalls everywhere. You start your day like this. You go to the nice bakery. You get the bakery. It's exactly like,
Movies.
yeah, it's exactly like movies. Sometimes it feels like good to be true in the evening after dinner. You go out like retired couples and go for walks and stuff.
True, that is very special. We are very lucky to be here. And yeah, then I will move to the last question of today's podcast, which is about your training partner. So, how much do you think it's important to have a training partner? Do you see any value in it? And yeah, tell me more about your experience.
Uh, so I mean, I've always trained lonely, and I mean, I've always trained alone. I've never joined running clubs, etc. I don't know. I always like training alone. But I mean, ever since I am extremely lucky because this kind of being interested in this kind of sports requires a different lifestyle that 99.95% of the population doesn't like much and cannot adapt to it. Or I mean, somebody always has to give up something. But in that, I am extremely lucky, one in a million chance that I found someone that actually likes this lifestyle and he also enjoys this kind of stuff as much as I do, and sometimes even more than I do. Sometimes I have to stop her. So that changes your life completely because it's not like I mean uh, it's I mean, it makes life much more enjoyable and much more easier. Like essentially, it. I mean, you don't have to have the same hobbies, but it just happens to be the luck that we have the same hobby. So like, you know, you you feel incredibly lucky, and also going out for the runs. Like you have someone that can run, and if you run, you realize that if you run with someone, it feels so much shorter. Sometimes you don't feel good, that person pulls you. Sometimes that person doesn't feel good, encourage them, etc. If you are with someone, particularly in a relationship, and the other person doesn't like this kind of stuff, you can continue doing it. Of course, everybody has their own hobbies, but like it would be so much harder than what I'm doing right now. For me, it's like easiest way to make my partner happy is to take her out for a run, which is something that I also, I prefer doing in my spare time. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Also because, especially if you are into racing, even if as an amateur like we do, it still takes a lot of hours of your week just the training. Think about at least 6 to 8, 10 hours
Yeah.
maybe in peak weeks. So you always would need to give up on something to train for the race or get ready for your 5 hours long run on a Sunday that maybe otherwise you would spend on a brunch enjoying some, I don't know, eggs, omelette.
It doesn't sound great. Yeah, exactly. And also, like, it's just there's also these sports. Anything that you do, there's both physical part and also psychological part. And most important thing is people understanding each other. Nobody will understand each other 100%. That's a big lie. But like, essentially, your pains, your happiness, excitement is exactly the same or in a very similar form in the other person as well. So it's just like, your life, you can center this kind of stuff in your life. And but this sport is not, we are not professional at it, so it actually stems from a core. If you think of the earth, there's a core and then there's earth, and the core is like, core is more the core values is being in the nature, I don't know, going out, being active, trying new things, etc. It actually stems from that. And trail running is just one branch of that tree. So like, essentially you share the same tree, the same core of things. So like, it just makes life so much easier. And especially in the races, there is somebody else that has done similar races, and it just makes things so much easier. And after a while, once you get used to it, like I'll be doing my race alone this time. I mean, in the first episode, I also told the challenges of running with someone, where I'm super competitive. Like, I even get competitive with myself, blah blah. And sometimes you're angry at yourself, but like, you want to blame the other person, etc. Like, this also happens. But after a while, after very long, you are like, I am all alone. What am I doing here? Blah blah. So the training partner is life changer in many ways.
Yeah, that's also probably why having a crew that is kind of familiar faces is always helpful in the races, right?
Yeah.
It kind of boosts your morale up, and you can't wait to see those faces in the next aid station. So at some point, the race becomes, okay, my next target is the next aid station. It's not even the end, because the end is too far. I need to have like an achievable goal, which is short enough.
Yeah, and it also becomes more about, like, those people as well. Like, it then becomes not your goal, but like, it's just you. First of all, after that much battle, these are extremely serious battles with yourself, and mental and physical, that you're probably in your life never reached there. And those people, you become more emotional, you fall in love more, like, you get more attracted, blah blah, like, or if you are angry, you get even more angry. But like, it's a roller coaster. But yeah, I mean, in my case, like I said, my life partner happens to be my training partner. So I'm just one in a million chance lucky. It just happened that way.
True. I'm always lower, but only on
Yeah.
easy run I can.
Yeah, you are slower, but probably for the next 4 or 5 years.
That we will
After
see.
that, after that, unfortunately, she'll be like, I need a new boyfriend.
No.
He's too slow. But for the next 4 or 5 years, I'll be faster, because it's the base. Like I said, it's putting money in the bank, and eventually you will probably pass me, because you have more athletic background.
I think Yunus is always too optimistic about this, but we will see in 4 years. Maybe we will still have a podcast in 4 years. And how this evolves, I am curious too. Thank you, Yunus. I think today's session was very valuable. You shared a lot of good insights about what we're doing, the importance of training outside of your local trails, trying to get also outside of your comfort zone, trying something new, and also a bit more on how is it life training alone versus with someone else. I hope you guys also enjoyed this episode of the podcast. If that's the case, don't forget to put a 5 star and follow our Moving Potatoes podcast. And I will see you in the next episode, which will be about the weight of the challenge.
Is it called the Moving Potatoes podcast now?
No. It's still Mind Over Miles, but it's by Moving Potatoes.
Okay. Just for correction.
Thank you, friends. See you to the next episode.
Bye bye.